Hello and welcome to ROKStudios in Asia Pacific. My name is Gurvin Kaur and I am the Regional Content Lead. And today in the studio, I'm joined by Craig van Spronsen. He's the Electric Vehicle Solutions Manager at NHP, our sole distributor in South Pacific. Hi Craig.
Hi Gurvin.
So before we begin, maybe you could just give a little introduction about yourself and what NHP does specific to electric vehicles.
Yes. So NHP are an electric engineering company. We've been involved in electric vehicle charging for about 5 years. Our team, based out of Melbourne in Queensland, focuses purely on the electric vehicle charging infrastructure part of the NHP wider business.
In a Rock Life session you recently delivered, the topic was entitled EVs, a literal opportunity of the century. So explain to us the reason behind this bold statement.
It is a bold statement, but it's an accurate statement, because with electric vehicle charging, one of the key industries they rely on to be successful is the automotive industry. If we sell electric vehicles, we'll sell electric vehicle charging and infrastructure installations and all the other parts. The electric vehicle industry doesn't succeed, we won't sell chargers. So the reality is that we're seeing a significant growth in electric vehicles being sold, and with that growing demand of electric vehicle infrastructure. So in terms of the once in a century discussion, if you really look at the background of the electric vehicle industry, we have really seen nothing dramatic happen in cars in general in 100 years. Electric is really the first big change in the way a car moves forward that we've actually seen.
What are you hearing on the ground from end users about the implementation of EVs?
So if we take a step back, a lot of the buildings that we have were never designed for electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, depending on how it's installed into that building, you could add additional 20, 30, 50, 100% demand to that building's power demands, which were never forecast. And the upgrades required to that building can be incredibly expensive, let alone where there's even grid capacity on the street to feed that building's new power demands. What we're really looking at is electric vehicle load management solutions. I think that's really the big step forward.
So what type of technologies will help support this and how?
Yeah, so we offer two solutions. One, our NHP load management solution, which runs an industrial computer in a localized environment like in a building. And what that'll do is it'll monitor the building, it'll monitor the number of vehicles, it'll monitor power in, out, and basically look at the available capacity and then provide that power to the chargers when there is available capacity. The next step then is something a little bit more top level or high end, which is your Delta Grid solution, and that looks at battery, it looks at your grid, it looks at any other renewable sources like solar, the number of vehicles being charged, the building, and then you can also do that multi-site, so you can manage multiple locations nationally, for example, so you can have an overarching load management system and you can control your entire operation as a business. So whether you've got multiple sites nationally or whether you're within a city or just even one, but with a lot of inputs like battery and solar. And so that's something else that we also offer.
Okay. So in your session, you also talked about the significant power demands required to power the EVs now and into the future. How do you propose we meet these demands as we shift from combustion to electric more and more?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the amount of the energy density in the fuels that we've been using, and then we're now trying to move away from that and move into electrification. Whilst we can also make certain upgrades to the buildings to meet these new demands, what we really need to also consider is how do we protect the grid as well, because we can't just magically build new power stations of any sort of source or just magically build huge solar farms all the time. We do need to utilize what we do have in the grid, and there is available capacity in the grid if we use it wisely. And so this is why, as part of that load management, what we also do is looking at utilizing available capacity in the grid and utilizing downtimes. Because the grid works in an oscillation pattern. On the Australian East Coast, for example, which is a lot of the work we've done, it peaks at around dinner time and breakfast time. And this is often around high demands for things like ovens, microwaves, hot water systems and all that. So we don't want to use the charging then. But at 3 in the morning, when obviously everyone's asleep, that's when you can use the chargers, or at 2 in the afternoon when there's excess solar, we can use that to power vehicles.
Well, yeah, wow, this has been very interesting in talking about not just EVs from the like what we see, but how do we keep the power going?
Yep.
So thank you so much, Craig, for joining us.
No problem.
And if you would like to learn more about what we are doing with EVs, check out rockwellautomation.com. And if you want to learn what NHP is doing, check out their website at nhp.com.au. Thank you.